everyone, I'm your host Pensyfan and welcome to the May 2022 Pensyfan Periodical. This is a monthly news series which covers most of the major railroading headlines from around the world, as well as my opinions on them. We have a lot of articles to go over today, so with that in mind, let's get rolling. First off, might as well start with a bit of local news as far as I'm concerned, as Shoreline East has placed their Kawasaki M8s in the service. After years of discussion and testing, these M8 railcars have started running on May 23rd for Shoreline East, or CT Rail, the state-owned commuter rail between New Haven and New London, Connecticut. Yet the cars themselves are identical to Metro North's M8s, since they have the exact same livery, interior, and Connecticut state seal in addition to the Metro North logo on their side. Yet they don't have any third rail shoes fitted on them due to a clearance barrier near New Haven, so the SLE M8s likely won't be through running on the Metro North anytime soon. Although, the Metro North logo makes sense since this is part of Metro North's order for 60 M8s a few months ago. In the meantime, these EMUs have effectively replaced all of the existing traditional diesel services on the line, consisting of GP40s and P40s and Versa coaches, which have now been relocated to the Springfield line. Yet this causes a slight problem at New London Station since SLE has to utilize two-way running on one of the two mainline tracks utilized by Amtrak instead of electrifying the isolated SLE track, which could cause some delays on the busy Northeast corridor. As mentioned in last month's periodical, the use of electric multiple units on the previously diesel railroad is another step towards mass electrification, with SLE having the easiest transition since the overhead wires are already there, and all they had to do was order some EMUs. But considering that other commuter rail agencies under Amtrak wires such as MARC and MBTA primarily use diesels under the wire due to Amtrak's high cost of sharing the wires, it's encouraging to see that more commuter railroads are still implementing this cleaner and more efficient form of energy, as this transition to electric brings forth the sudden end of an era of diesel railroading on Shoreline East. Meanwhile, Alstom is to supply Coradia HC EMUs to Baden-Württemberg, while CAF is to supply LRVs for Bonn. FCG has purchased very square-looking Euroduals from Stadler. Transport for Wales Class 398s have arrived in Wales, while Vale has accepted CRRC battery-powered engines. Skoda is to refurbish Gothenburg M31 trams, while Strukton is to convert more locos to battery-powered. SNCB has repainted one of their multiple units into a Royal Train livery, while PIMK 80001 has been painted with style from the future. SNCF Chenselien is to auction some of their BB27-300s, BB2Ns, and AGCs. And MBTA CRRC cars have once again been taken out of service, before returning a few weeks later only for more issues to be found on them. Speaking of which, here's some interesting news. Battery Powered has expanded its range into miniature gauge railways, as the Bure Valley Railway has placed miniature gauge battery locomotives into service. Yet some railcars will still be using diesel for now, such as the sleek single car inspection DMU for HD infrastructure, and electric powered trams are still seeing service life elsewhere, as Mendoza Transport in Argentina has imported ex-San Diego light rail SD100s. On the other side of the Atlantic, some open access operators are now starting to carry passenger and freight such as RegioJet, while Indian Railways has ordered freight EMUs. JR East is to make a 200 series heritage unit on Shinkansen E2. Francis Bourgeois is Railfan Brightline, and hopefully gave it more widespread recognition. NRE's new CEO is ready to make some noise. The NYC subway released the Notorious B.I.G. Metro cards. Bono held a concert in a Kiev metro station. Amtrak has released a Lofi video. An engine which I recently covered in Remarkable Engines was spotted on Virtual Railfan. And Metro released a new commemorative unit as number 104 has been repainted to honor the city of Chicago. It looks alright, but I think the black clashes too much with the white of the Chicago flag, and the shade of dark yellow for the line doesn't fit well either. But I will say it's pretty neat that it was placed with fellow commemorative units 402 and 405 for Pullman Railroad days, which included a very rare occurrence of Amtrak and private cars on Metro for this run to Pullman 111th Street Station. But alas, we have the sad news. Northern Lights Express has been set back as it was suddenly denied funding by a Minnesota governor. Via Rail CEO Gardner has stepped down. Thales is to stop operating low-cost high-speed service Izzy as part of the Eurostar merger, since the entire service is a non-stop Paris to Brussels service on the local line. Construction for Tren Maya has been halted. Skoda 19Es have been deemed too expensive to rebuild and may be scrapped. SPS baggage car 55 has been scrapped, and SEPTA has scrapped all 7 of their AEM-7s along with their lone ALP-44, with many rail fans catching their final movement as they were towed to Morrisville. Now here's a follow-up news section for articles covering stories from previous episodes. Swiss Airlines and SBB have started a partnership to bring more riders on trains, which is something I'm glad to see spread throughout Europe and should really be implemented in the US. Slovakia held a similar railway support protest called Here to Signal Bratislava. Spain has started testing for their hydrogen-powered multiple unit. Alstom has completed their first multiple unit for NCRTC. Pentalinos have entered service on Cisplano. LNER A-Forester Nigel Gresley has been restored. And the Mount Rainier Scenic Railroad is to return to operation sometime soon. Meanwhile, congratulations to Reston and Perry Bar for reopening, while work has started for Sunderland, and signs have been released for Wampersdorf and Nairobi Central. In other news, Etihad Rail is to collaborate with Renfe, HS1 and GBRF. Siemens has exited the Russian market. Elijah McCoy has been recognized as the Google Doodle for May 2nd. An official trailer has been released for the Weird Al Yankovic story. BNSF has modified their high-vis attendance policy while showing support for restoring the North Coast Limited. Even though I don't approve of their attendance policy, I still respect BNSF for being supportive of passenger rail with moves like this. Meanwhile, Indiana Northeastern Railroad is to host excursions for NKP 765. The D&I Railroad has acquired former Hawkeye Express bilevels for community events as replacement for 2 cabooses. The Ironess Pass Railroad is to be restored. The Charlotte Western Railroad has commenced operations. The Adrian and Blissfield has released a new livery. The Louisville in Indiana has acquired the Southern Indiana Railway. Watco has been designated the most loved workplace, and the Thames streetcar has started operation on May 23rd. After all that, it is now time for this month's Meme of the Month. This month's Meme of the Month is GT3. And now, the top story of the May 2022 Pensyfan Periodical is Crossrail's Elizabeth line finally opened! It's been talked about for decades, often ridiculed for its delays, but finally on May 24th, the Elizabeth line opened to the public with thousands of excited riders, media outlets, and transit-oriented YouTubers alike. Although I'm an American who focuses on mostly American rail-related topics, I'll try to explain the subject to the best of my ability. Technically, the Elizabeth line is part of a system that operates on the Great Western Main Line, operated by Great Western, and the Great Eastern Main Line, operated by Greater Anglia. Although commuter service on parts of each line started back in 2015, the Underground Elizabeth line of discussion connects these 2 routes between Paddington and Abbey Wood. This underground portion in particular has been discussed, under construction, and delayed multiple times, which made many people pessimistic about its completion. But this pessimism soon turned to optimism as its completion made international headlines as one of London's largest rail projects was finally opened to the public, with connections for the existing lines with the Royal Oak Portal to the west and the Pudding Mill Lane Portal to the east set to open soon. But this isn't the end of the story for the Elizabeth line, as further expansion is being considered to Gravesend, Milton Keynes, and Staines in order to extend this vital rail link to more regions of Britain's capital city. But for now, it's encouraging to see that a once ridiculed but long-awaited transit project has finally opened to the delight of the public, as the newest edition of the Elizabeth line can help serve the expansive Transport for London system. Thank you everyone for watching this month's episode of the Pensyfan Periodical. There have been a lot of rail news headlines for the month, and it will be very interesting to see what the future has in store for all of these articles. Thank you again for watching, and if you haven't done so already, don't forget to ask up to 5 questions for this channel's annual Q&A. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Have a good day.